I'm flying one way in the noisy and silent universe. There is no destination and no turning back. Although the future is bright, but I know that as long as I keep flying, I will not only encounter the past, we will also meet the future. With the 324th call failed, I turned off the communication log and took a deep breath. After the fact, we face a fact. I'm afraid I will never be able to have any contact with the Earth again in this life. Head. It has been 800 years since he left the Earth. My lover must be dead now. If it hadn't been for Zhou Feng's main method, I would have been dead by now, but at least before I die, I will spend a complete life with my lover. The engine at the tail end of the spacecraft moves for a period of time. It will detonate a small Kuyuan bullet. Rush. The speed of a ship increases to 7% of the speed of light. I'm not extending my physical life in cryochamber, just constantly trying to establish communication with the Earth. My communication with the headquarters is pretty normal. This obstacle to understanding does not come from the rock aspect. Earth's medicinal and technological changes. Unfamiliar countries and vocabulary appeared in the message. The development of science and technology is starting to become a fantasy to me. Just like people in the lobby period have a hard time understanding what scriptures. I have tried reading materials to understand advanced things. But I realized it was all in vain. I have not tried my best to learn all the knowledge I have learned. All this knowledge will become obsolete again. A new and incomprehensible distant society. It will never catch up with the development speed of human society as a whole, and Earth headquarters seems to be aware of this. Their messages started getting shorter and shorter, a complete encyclopedic information package from the beginning. In the end, it gradually turned into a rumor-checking answer to the question. The interval between each communication keeps growing. It's like holding a knife in the ground. She too cut off the Fengzhen line that practiced and followed me. The whole process is long and painful. Earth headquarters is no longer based on hard-hitting. I started to speculate about the reason for the communication in the middle of the Earth. It may be that during the long propagation process of the signal, significantly weakened by interference imposed by the universe, effective information can no longer be conveyed to Earth. Humanity has become more efficient in space exploration projects. I can no longer provide more valuable data. There's also the most unreasonable conjecture. That's what happened on Earth. Headquarters has lost the ability to contact me. I thought of the synthetic girl on the computer. This voice shines on me like a beam of light that penetrates the universe. The 325th successful bull call. The target of the bullshit is confirmed. I can't believe it. 10 and 200 years later, we regained contact with the Earth. I flashed my gun and ran towards the flashing screen. My response almost came out with a catering mouth, like a mystic who grabs the grass dumped by the table. I'm afraid that a few seconds of delay will cause the signal to disappear. Turn this successful call into a gift. Received signal over time. Soon a complete sentence appeared on the screen. Taking off from Earth since 2662. This is not a signal from the Earth, but another Yuzhou spacecraft happened to enter my signal range. According to the International Aerospace Information Security Regulations, ask the respondent to provide detailed navigation information. The subtitles on the screen continue to flash. Lone Star for International Space Information Security Regulations. All information about Lone Star 4 is in our database. You are an academic senior whom we respect the most. He's also a hero who fights for the truth. Please allow me to express my sincere gratitude to you on behalf of the 20 ladies on board number 290. I am the first prisoner to be exiled by scheming. He's a sinner whom the Earth cannot tolerate. Then there was long silence on the other side. I know this pull system is not caused by distance. It's that they are desperately thinking about how to answer the call. The text on the screen started to move again during halftime. You are a prophet written in the textbooks. He is a hero with a sharp tragic color. The original Human Improvement Project was the stupidest decision. This sentence has stayed on my soul for a long time. This is the first time that genetic engineering technology has been applied on a large scale. If replaced with advantageous genes, the technology of the times, people in the world will become beautiful, smart, and strong. But everything has its opposite. If all human beings were replaced by superior genes, that will make individual differences among humans extremely small. This is seriously governed by the laws of nature's essence. Humanity will lose the ability to adapt to disasters. Any virus that modified humans cannot defend against. All humans will be infected in a short period of time until they are wiped out. At that time, a group of young scholars and I were the first to realize this. Do you want people to be on the edge before their genes are fully consented to be rewritten? It's a pity that I still underestimated human beings' yearning for perfection. I remember that interest once characterized me as the leader of the opposition, and sentenced me to incite anti-scientific remarks, and leave me in mind. Use your best self to do the work of exploring the depths of the universe. This money-saving project without having to consider returning home was quickly implemented. Then they threw me in the spacecraft without breaking device into space. In addition to fine-tuning its angle to avoid asteroids, the spacecraft can only fly to the universe in a fixed direction. At first I thought it was glorious, although he was the first prisoner to be released into space. He has also become the scientist who has traveled the furthest. But the distance between stars is indeed much greater than imagined. Facing the window, there is always an unchanging scenery. I soon developed extraordinary emotions, not to mention using these trivial data. What meaningful scientific contributions have you made? This is when the text on the screen lights up again. Mr. Fu has to tell you a regrettable fact. 400 years after the start of the genetic improvement project, that's a virus called SLIN. He specializes in attacking the Zhongshu nerve of the human body. Every 10 minutes will lead to death of human beings. Makes everyone on Earth become a unified people. In just 3 months, the Earth's population dropped by 99%. I felt weak all over. I didn't expect that the prediction turned into reality. The Human Improvement Project is equivalent to putting eggs in the agreed basket. The human race loses its ability to survive disasters. Why didn't you understand such a simple truth back then? Yes, human beings are carried away by the immediate interests. Who would want their children to be less good than others? The final outcome will be like this. We are all very sad. What about you? Your letter has also been improved, right? The 20 people on my ship and I are all soldiers. We are patrolling the boundary track to avoid this. Observe the development trend of the virus on the ground track, waiting for the right time to return home. A rich man with a small private spaceship escaped from the ground with his mouth shut. The large spaceships originally used by the powerful became. Later, some spaceships carrying viruses also flew up and red after killing everyone in the ship. The spacecraft lost control and began to collide. After installing a small star or other spaceship, the debris of the damage flew uncontrollably in all directions, causing harm to more spaceships. It's like a horrible practice reaction. Mirror Earth orbit presents a doomsday scene. Desolate and wet, just half a month. Less than 60% of the surviving spaceships remain. Finally decided to leave the Mirror Earth orbit and fly into the depths of the universe. Although I don't know if there is any hope of survival in space, but it's better than staying on Earth and waiting to die. Isn't this spacecraft used for mirror orbit patrol? Is it okay to suddenly switch to long-distance sailing? Have all the life systems on your spacecraft been installed? The OK engine has been replaced by the anti-pollution engine. The anti-pollution engine not only allows the spacecraft to reach 30% of the speed of light, it also further reduces the cost of fuel transportation and storage. From that time on, when the factory was manufacturing spaceships, let's not distinguish between interstellar navigation and mirror orbit. All spacecraft are equipped with life systems necessary for long-distance flights. It has actually developed to the level of being able to use anti-materials at will. Such an advanced civilization was destroyed by my own hands. It's a pity that we didn't follow your advice at that time. Let the civilization that has evolved to this point suffer a loss. This question seems to be asking number 2900. There was silence at number 2900 for a long time, without any further reminiscences. Anti-material spaceships are much faster than nuclear spaceships. In a few years, change number 290 will surpass me. The distance between us will only get farther and farther. So on the day when the two spacecraft are closest, this group of destined people who have never met bid me a solemn farewell. I remember that number 290 turned into a single point. Waiting to wake up again after 30 years. When I thought my last connection with human civilization would end this way. There are actually other human beings fleeing in the same direction. According to the International Aerospace Information Security Regulations, ask the respondent to provide detailed navigation information. Deputy Xiaoyan, the first member of Lone Star No. 4. The Cellin 7 spacecraft took off from Earth in 2979. International space information security regulations have long been abolished in our era. I quickly checked the perpetual calendar in my computer for 2979, 200 years after the virus leak disaster, and this year is 2979. In other words, it took me more than 800 years to fly the distance. Cellin No. 7 has only been used for more than 200 years. Cellin 7, your flight speed is so close to the speed of light. We break through research in the field of quantum electrodynamics, developed a pre-month drive epidemic for Cellin 7. It can create a pressure-controlled room without any energy. The spacecraft traveling in it is equivalent to entering another path, breaking through the constraints of the theorem that the speed of light in the external universe is constant. Walk a path that transcends time and space. You can imagine that when we are no longer moving along the surface of the sphere. Instead, walk a straight line directly inside the ball. Pen value band from one point to another. This idea existed only in science fiction novels in my time. How could it be possible that in just over 200 years, and have developed technology to such a high level, obtained artificial intelligence far beyond the human brain? There's nothing that can completely wipe out humanity now. My spaceship was named Commander in commemoration of that disaster. I'm going to be paranoid about what he's describing, whether it's retrograde flight, or eternal life, or artificial intelligence far beyond the human brain. How did you manage to use it for just a few decades? Life science is the starting point of artificial intelligence. We have not separately crossed the starting points. Instead, we solve these problems together. Wasn't the Commander's virus very good at the time? Killed 99% of humans on Earth in a short period of time. The virus cannot survive for a long time without the human body, as long as the virus kills everyone outside the quarantine area, even though we haven't developed any medicines. I am overwhelmed by the rapidly growing amount of text. Although you give up people in infected areas, but all civilizations in the world are based on population. Not to mention breakthrough technology 7. Even civilized society will fall apart. At this time, number 307 interrupted me with a message. Why civilization must be based on population? After the disaster, the survivors did some introspection. It's all because humans are dependent on substances. So people don't live long and can't go very far. But it will be different if we digitize the human brain. We deciphered the DNA code of the brain. The first computer immigrants appear. Just transfer the various data that make up the brain into the computer. Then the database can inherit all the memories and emotions of this person. This is why we made an unexpected discovery. Most people think of their own way of thinking, combined with the efficient computing of computers. This computing method that adopts human thinking, its efficiency is such that no one in the era of improving mankind can forget its contradiction. The development of science and technology is like playing games. As long as you think about it, it won't take long to come true. Human progress scares me of the need for contemplation. But I have independent thoughts and character. Even if one day the spacecraft is damaged, as long as the data in my brain is sent back to Earth. Although I am happy to know that civilization on Earth continues, but this method of synthesis is not another improvement. But I didn't expect the speed of technological development on Earth far beyond the speed of my broken ship. Any search for a spaceship from the future can easily catch up with me. I haven't contributed much to the exploration of the universe. My finished C-07 is an archaeological ship. The purpose of our trip is to catch up with the earliest wireless radio waves launched by mankind. And the purpose of this ship-searching trip is indeed a relaxing archaeology. Despite being shocked, Baum still agreed to C-07's invitation. I was thrust into subspace by Commander 7 spacecraft. The surrounding universe is covered in layers of jumpsuits. It's spinning so fast in a way I can't understand. Not long after, Commander No. 7's communication came again. We have arrived at the idiom of humanity's infinite radio waves. This is the limitless radio wave that was emitted during your lifetime on Earth. We have suppressed your name from the voices we received. Then so I remembered another voice that was very familiar to me. The voice was like a deep, supportive voice in Tyndall's phenomenon. This is what my lover typed in front of the radio. That was me studying my new invention in my old room hundreds of years ago. And he was sitting opposite me with his eyes full of love and silently accompanying me. but there are some things where cold data alone is not enough. You can help us better understand that era. The reverse will be much faster than your journey. I declined the invitation from Selin number 7. I then understood what I should pursue in my remaining voice. I want to continue flying in the soundless universe. Who knows what kind of Earth the next spacecraft will bring?